Hello and welcome back once again to the Wrestling Rant. It is Monday, and it is time for the Raw notes. Yeah. November 11th, 2013, from Manchester, England. The show starts with a recap of last week, the whole thing that happened between The Big Show, Triple H and Stephanie, and then the match between Show versus The Shield and Randy Orton. Whatever the fuck. After recapping that, the announcers, or the commentators, are quick to inform us that the Authority, Triple H and Stephanie, are on vacation this week. Apparently, they didn't want to go to England or something, I don't know, but whatever. So we don't really know who's in charge. That's what Michael Cole says. So Randy's music hits, and out he comes, and he starts talking, and he says that he's in charge. But then Brad Maddox, the Raw GM, comes out, and he says that he's in charge. And then Kane's music hits. And he comes out in his suit, and he informs us of something that we already pretty much knew. If you've been paying attention to the Facebook page, or I guess even the Twitter page of the WWE, they informed us that Kane has been made by Triple H and Stephanie. He has been made the Director of Operations, or the DOO, in the WWE. So whatever. Kane and Maddox are bickering, and then Randy tries to interrupt, and then Vicky has to come out with her shrill cunt voice. Good God. In any event, Vicky, even though this ain't her show, somehow makes a handicap match. Using the ideas of both Kane and Maddox, which one of them suggested that Randy should fight Cody, and one of them suggested that Randy should fight Goldust. Vicky just, I think what Randy ended up saying is, I can't fight both of them. And then Vicky's like, yeah, you can, sure, it's going to be a handicap match. So yeah, that's what ends up happening. Cody and Goldust's music hits, and out the two of them come together. And then there's a commercial break. And when we come back from the commercial, the match is starting. It's Randy versus Cody and Goldust. It was actually a decent match. There was a commercial in the middle of it. And then what ends up happening is Randy gets knocked out of the ring. And the ref is counting, of course. And Randy gets up, and he's looking up into the ring at Cody and Goldust, and he's just like, screw this. He lets the referee count him out. So Randy gets counted out. Match is done. But out of nowhere comes the Big Show. And this is surprising. I should have probably mentioned this earlier, but I think it was when Cole mentioned that the Authority was on vacation. They also happened to say that Big Show wasn't there at the arena. He missed the flight or whatever the fuck. I don't know. So he was supposedly not going to be there. But he came out anyways, and he beats the hell out of Randy. And he throws Randy into the steel ring stairs. And then he clears off the announce table. And he brings the steel ring stairs over to it, the whole thing. And he grabs Randy and picks him up, and he takes him up the stairs, and he lifts him up way up high, up off of these stairs, and just choke slams Randy right through the announce table, and this table just fucking imploded under Randy's weight. And Randy hit the fucking floor hard. So he looked like he was legit hurt. But whatever, doctors and referees come over to check on Randy, and they cut to a commercial. After the commercial, we get a recap of what just happened. And then, Los Matadores music hits, and of course out the two of them come with El Torito. And then Santino's music, and out he comes with bull horns on his head. And as he's coming out, again, I believe it's Michael Cole who informs us this is going to be a 6-man tag match, and their opponents are going to be, well, this weird, unfamiliar music hits. And Roberts, the ring announcer, says their opponents, the Union Jacks. And everybody's like, okay, who the hell are the Union Jacks? Out come Slater, Mahal, and McIntyre, 3MB. And they're wearing Union Jack design pants. I don't know if this was supposed to be a joke at the Matadors for like, oh, you can change your gimmick and you can change your outfits, but, you know, you're still the same guys. And here's the funny thing. Since they were in England, 3MB gets cheered just because they come out in Union Jack pants. It didn't make any fucking sense. Anyways, guess how the match went? It sucked. There was some stupid shenanigans with El Torito being chased by Heath Slater, of course, because Slater just can't get over the fact that he can't catch Torito and he can't do anything to him. There's a bunch of bullshit. Whatever the fuck. Santino's legal. He pulls out the stupid Cobra sock, which also has bull horns attached to it for some reason. He hits the Cobra on, I think it was Mahal, and he gets the win. So the Matadors and Santino win. Like I said, the match sucked. We cut backstage. Randy is, I guess, on the doctor's table in the doctor's office, and he's being checked on. He's got an ice pack on his shoulder. The doctor is looking at him, and then up comes Maddox. I don't really remember what he says, but Randy's basically just yelling at him, and then Vicky comes up, and Randy's yelling at her, and then Kane comes up, and Randy tries to yell at him, and then Kane's like, you need to remember who you're talking to. I'm the director of operations and all this shit. Whatever. After that, we get a hype thing for a match that they're just going to all of a sudden announce, which is going to happen a little later on. Dolph Ziggler versus Curtis Axel for the Intercontinental title. And my first thought is, holy shit, Curtis is actually going to defend the fucking title for once? That only happens like hardly ever. Why he hasn't been stripped of the fucking thing yet, I don't know. Anyways, after the hype for that, they go to a commercial. And when they come back, Damien Sandow is already in the ring. And then Kofi's music hits, and out he comes. And surprisingly, despite the jobber entrance, Sandow still manages to win. It was a decent match between him and Kofi, but it was mostly Sandow because Kofi sucks. Sandow hits You're Welcome, the full Nelson slam, and he gets the win. Whatever. After that, they show a little split screen thing of Ziggler and Axel. They're both coming through a hallway coming out for the match. And they say that match is up next. And they cut to another commercial. Okay, fine. When they come back, Ziggler comes out and Axel comes out to no reaction, by the way. The UK fans gave him jack shit. They gave him fuck all. Nothing. And he's not the only one who gets no reaction tonight. I'll get back to that later. But yeah. So Ziggler and Axel, IC title match, turned out to be good, but again, it was mostly Ziggler carrying the match because Axel sucks. He's boring as fuck. The only really highlights, even though Dolph is able to hit the big Super X Factor off the top rope, Axel is still able to somehow recover. Oh yeah, this is another spot that they keep doing that really pisses me off. Ziggler keeps going for the zigzag while his opponent is over by the ropes holding on to the damn ropes. And it's obvious you're not going to hit the damn move when they're holding on to the ropes. So it just makes Ziggler look like a dumbass when he tries this. But he does, and of course since Axel's hanging onto the ropes, he just kind of flings Ziggler off, and Ziggler rolls through, but then Axel turns around, kicks him, turns him around, and hits the swinging neckbreaker, face buster, whatever the fuck, the move he ripped off from Kurt Hawkins. He hits that, and they still don't have a fucking name for it, but Axel gets the win. So, instead of actually giving the Intercontinental title to somebody who doesn't suck, nope, Axel's still your fucking Intercontinental Champion, and that belt still continues to mean absolutely squat. Who books this shit? Is there somebody in the back that just has a mega hard-on for Curtis Axel? Because I really don't see anything special about him. He's nothing compared to his father. He doesn't have his father's charisma. He doesn't have his father's talent. He doesn't even look like his father. And the funny thing is, Ziggler looks and acts more like Mr. Perfect than fucking Curtis Axel does. And Ziggler's not even related to him. Anyways, after the match, we go backstage. I think it's supposed to be the office, and there's Kane and Maddox arguing again. And essentially what they do is they make two separate matches. I think Maddox suggests we should have the Real Americans versus John Cena in a handicap match. And Kane's like, yeah, I kind of like that handicap match idea, but I think I'm going to make a tag team handicap match. Daniel Bryan and CM Punk versus all three members of The Shield. Both of those matches are going to happen later tonight. They cut to commercial. We come back, and we do another one of those stupid segments where somebody is trying to sell merchandise. And this time, it's Zack fucking Ryder. He has a goatee now, all the way around his mouth. Looks like he's trying to be a really bad rip-off of Stone Cold Steve Austin. He's shilling the merchandise, and he says, you can use coupon code BROSKI and get 25% off. And I'm like, I'd rather fucking pay full price than use your fucking coupon code, you fucking hack. Get off the show. Go to TNA. Find a new job. You're not a very good wrestler, Zack. I'm sorry, but I can't stand him. I hate his music, I hate his face, I hate his stupid wrestling that sucks, and I hate his fucking character. His character has become so watered down, he's not even really like a Long Island dude anymore, or like a Jersey Shore ripoff. He's just a guy. A douchey guy. With prison pussy around his mouth. Yeah, by the way, Zach, that's what that looks like. Looks like you went down on it and came up with it, alright? So fuck off and get a shave. And while you're at it, shave the rest of your fucking head too. Douche. You want to look like a douche, you might as well go the whole mile. Sorry, but that guy pisses me off. Anyways, after that, we cut back to the ring, and I hear AJ's music playing, and I'm like, what the fuck? Tamina's in the ring. I'm like, okay. And then there's AJ on the outside of the ring. And then the Bellas music hits, and out the two of them come. But the commentators, again, I think it's Cole, is quick to say, this is a singles match. It's going to be Tamina versus Nikki. So that's what we get. And oh yeah, the Bellas come out to no reaction, obviously. The Bellas can't get a fucking reaction. No one cares that one of them's dating Daniel Bryan, and no one cares that the other one's dating John Cena. They're not very good wrestlers. They don't have very much charisma, neither one of them does. And nobody really wants to see them. They're pretty, so what? I don't give a fuck. Anyways, we get the match, Tamina and Nikki. Do I even really need to tell you that the match was shit? It was shit. Did I even really need to say that? It was a shitty match. Tamina fucking blows too. And Nikki can't do shit either. Crowd was trolling. AJ and Brie get into it on the outside. After AJ kind of interfered in the match and hit Nikki. So Brie and her got into it, whatever the fuck. Brie still got taken out. Back in the ring, Tamina hits Nikki with a big boot, which lays her the fuck out. And then she goes up to the top rope and does her Superfly splash ripoff, where she still doesn't land it right. But Tamina wins. Who cares? AJ gets in the ring to celebrate with Tamina, and then up comes Brie, drop kicks the fuck out of AJ, and then drop kicks Tamina. And so AJ and Tamina are out of the ring, and then the Bella music plays. Keep trying to push them. We still don't like them. And once again, I have to question, when in the hell did the Bellas turn face? Because I don't remember them ever having a proper face turn. So, honestly, I don't buy the Bellas as faces. I still remember the way they were when they were heels, always putting up the L on the forehead, loser, loser shit. They just suddenly stopped doing that overnight. I really don't think they can be anything but heels. Nobody really likes them. Anyways, they hype up the handicap match between Cena and the Real Americans, and then they cut to a commercial. And when they come back, they recap Big Show attacking Randy from earlier. And of course, that segues into Randy backstage again with the Doctor. And then up comes the Shield members, who have been strangely absent. And I think, again, Michael Cole said they hadn't shown up yet either. They, I guess they didn't catch their helicopter like they did last time. But anyways, Randy's yelling at him, "Where the hell were you? I could have used you guys earlier." And then the Shield guys are like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold him up there, Randy. We don't work for Kane, we don't work for Vicky, and we don't work for Brad Maddox. And we sure as hell don't work for you. So basically, they just told Randy to go fuck himself. Which, honestly, I think a lot more people need to start doing that. But anyways, hopefully that's teasing the Shield will fucking turn face sometime soon, because that would be great. Anyways, Fandango's music hits, and he comes out with Summer. But before they get to the ring, they cut to a commercial. And when they come back, this new music hits. Wait. Okay, wait. When they came back from commercial, they decided to play a clip from a new episode of the Total Divas shit. And this whole thing was just so stupid. What it basically was Johnny in the ring, they were at the Performance Center down in Florida. Johnny's in the ring, sort of training with Natalya. And in the ring next to it, because they have more than one ring, Tyson is in the ring with Eva Marie. And they're training. And the whole gist of it is, Tyson's jealous of Natalya training with somebody else. It's like cheating on him or something, and it's so fucking stupid. This whole Total Divas thing is just stupid as fuck. So basically, that's the only reason we get this match. But after the stupid thing from Total Divas, this new music hits, and out comes Tyson with Natalya. So we get Fandango versus Tyson Kidd. Actually turned out to be a good match. The only real note is the finish. Kidd went for a springboard from the apron. He springboarded, came in, jumped over Johnny, and sunset flipped him. But instead of rolling through it and getting pinned. Johnny just drops down and hooks Tyson's legs and gets the 1, 2, 3. So Fandango actually wins. And him and Summer take off and, whatever the fuck. We cut backstage to Cena walking through one of the hallways. He's coming out for his match next, and then they cut to a commercial. When we come back, Cena's music hits and he gets booed, obviously. But he comes out, and then the Real Americans come out with Coulter, and of course Coulter has to talk. And despite just shitting all over the UK crowd, they still cheer him. And they still go along with the We the People thing. Anyways, we get the match. Cena versus the Real Americans. Do I even need to tell you who wins? Cena's in the fucking match. Do you really think he's going to lose? Of course not. Despite Cena winning, it does turn out to be a decent match. But in the early going, Del Rio comes out. And he's on commentary. And I'm like, oh god, not again. Because it was awful last time. There's a commercial, and there's more crowd trolling. Oh yeah, and Cena goes for his stupid running shoulder tackle, but it gets countered by Cesaro. As Cena comes diving in for the tackle, Cesaro just uppercuts the fuck out of him with a nice European uppercut and just knocks Cena on his punk ass. And I'm like, why don't more people counter it like that? Why don't more people counter it at all? He's been doing that same stupid shoulder tackle for how many damn years now? Way too many. This brings up a whole nother discussion about why people really should change up their moves more often. Because when you do the same moves for a lengthy period of time, A, it gets really predictable, makes the matches worse, but B, you'd think after so many years of using the same moves, your opponents would learn your shit. And they would learn how to counter it. But no, because there's no fucking logic to be had in the WWE. There's none. No logic whatsoever. And whatever logic there is retarded logic. That's one of the reasons why I really fucking hate the WWE these days. No logic. Cena's been using the same moves for a decade, and hardly anybody has come up with counters. Despite him still doing the same shit every fucking week. That's one of the reasons why Cena is the shitbag that he is. You can't come up with any new moves. You're just a joke of a wrestler. Take that amateur shit somewhere else. You're on the grand stage here in the WWE. You should be bringing your A game. Not the same shit every week. Whatever. Cena goes for the attitude adjustment on Cesaro, but Swagger comes in and clips Cena's leg out from under him. And it gets countered again. I don't remember how, but whatever. Cena finally hits the attitude adjustment on Swagger. Cesaro breaks up the pin, though. Cena power bombs Cesaro, I think. Whatever. And then Cesaro throws Cena into the ropes, lifts him up flapjack style, and hits him with the very European uppercut. But after that, Cena's able to lock in the STF and wins. Whatever. I think Cesaro was the one who tapped out to the STF, but Swagger came in after the match to attack Cena. But Cena cleared house from the two of them. But then Del Rio comes running into the ring with a chair and attacks Cena from behind. Beats the shit out of him with the chair, knocks him down, sticks Cena's arm in the chair and starts stomping it, like Pillmanizing it. And then with the chair still wrapped around Cena's arm, he locks in the cross arm breaker and he's trying to rip Cena's fucking arm off. And I'm actually getting behind this. I'm like, yeah, re-injure the sack of shit. Get him on the damn shelf again, because he really needs to go and fucking heal. And then, for some completely unknown reason, here comes Big E Langston. dives into the ring and pulls Del Rio off of Cena, picks him up and chucks him out of the fucking ring. I have no fucking clue why Big E would attack Del Rio. And it's not just because Big E is a face now. There needs to be more of a reason than just that. Is Big E trying to say he wants a world title shot? Because Del Rio don't have the fucking title, Cena does. I was half expecting Big E to pick Cena up and give him the big ending and turn heel again. That didn't happen. But whatever. After that segment is ended, we get some hype for the Shield versus Bryan and Punk match for later, and they cut to commercial again. And when we come back from the commercial, they say that, well, first of all, they recap from SmackDown 2 weeks ago. It was a tag team match with the Divas, but Natalya was able to make AJ tap out to the sharpshooter. And because of that, Natalya is getting a shot at the Divas title against AJ on Main Event this week. So, whoop-de-doo. AJ's going to retain because they won't change titles on anything that's not a pay-per-view or Raw. So, yeah. Not only that, but here's the thing. Since when does getting a win in a tag team match over the champion make you the number one contender? It used to be that you actually had to beat the champion in a one-on-one non-title match, or you actually had to win a number one contenders match against somebody else, or you had to win a tournament, or a battle royal, or something to actually... But beating the champion in a tag team match, a random tag team match no less, since when does that mean jack shit? I don't know, but whatever. Who gives a fuck? After that, they recap what just happened with, with Big E and Del Rio attacking Cena and all that shit. So they recap that. And of course that segues into Kane, Maddox, and Vicky in the office. And they're bickering, and who gives a fuck? And then up comes Del Rio, and he says, "Did you see what I just did? Do you see? Tell Punk, Cena, whatever the fuck, and tell Big E to keep his nose out of my business." And Vicky kind of interjects, and she says, "How about you tell him? Because we're going to have a match." That's going to happen later. Back in the arena, Ryback's music hits, and he comes out to no reaction at all. And then Truth's music hits, and he comes out rapping again, and the crowd actually kind of gets behind him. And I'm figuring, okay, this is going to be an obvious squash match. And it almost was. But yeah, Ryback versus Truth. The match was mostly Ryback beating the shit out of Truth. And the commentators were even like, I think it was, Cole was asking JBL, like, what would R-Truth have to do to win? And JBL's like, he'd have to get lucky. And that's exactly what happens, because Truth winds up in the corner, and Ryback backs up to go for his meat hook. He's tuning up for it. He comes running. Truth ducks it. Ryback hits the corner, bounces back. Truth rolls him up and gets the win. And then Truth rolls out of the ring and gets the fuck out of there. I'm laughing my ass off. Ryback just lost to Truth. And I didn't even write down the quality of match. All I wrote down was fucking LOL. I guess they finally realized that Ryback just ain't worth shit. And they're like, alright, fine, let's bury him and get him the hell off TV. Anyways. Up next, they recap the Big Show slamming Randy through the announce table from earlier. And then Big E comes out for his match with Del Rio. Commercial break. when we come back from the commercial, there's a recap of Cena being attacked earlier by Del Rio, and then Big E breaking it up, of course. And then Del Rio comes out, to no reaction. These UK fans just could not give a fuck. They were fandangoing during Johnny's match, and during his entrance and everything, and it was kind of like the post-WrestleMania crowd, because a lot of them were actually European fans. But whatever. Big E and Del Rio was basically boring. It was mainly back and forth type stuff, I think. The crowd was trolling during the match, whatever. But here's the shocker. After having Big E break up Del Rio's thing earlier, and then Big E was all, he wanted a match, whatever the fuck. Del Rio manages to get Big E in the cross arm breaker, and Big E almost immediately taps out like a bitch. So Del Rio wins by submission. I do not understand how stupid someone would have to be to book this way. If you wanted Del Rio to win, fine. It could have been a dirty win, or some sort of a cheap shot, or have him win like a heel and have him cheat. This was clean as a sheet. Big E taps out like a bitch. And after you've made him look so tough over the last couple of weeks, even last week when he went up against Randy, he still lost clean as a sheet. This is not the way to build somebody up. But whatever. After that, they once again hype up the Shield versus Bryan and Punk, and they cut to commercial. And when we come back, we've got a black screen. No, it's not what you're thinking. It's not the Wyatts. The lights finally come back on, and there's Paul Heyman looking like shit. He's got a neck brace on, and he's got a brace around his abdomen, like a back brace kind of thing. Neck brace and a back brace, and his leg is in a cast with a brace on that, and he's got a crutch with him. He's sitting in a wheelchair, his stupid little rascal thing again, and Curtis Axel is standing behind him with his Intercontinental title that he somehow managed to retain earlier. And I was thinking, wait a minute, I thought they said Heyman wasn't coming back. I guess not. Heyman starts talking, and of course he's healing it up, shitting on the UK fans. And he even shits on Ryback by saying, "You said you had it handled with Punk at Hell in a Cell. You said you would be able to beat him, and you punked out just like, whatever." And then he says he's going to return with a vengeance after he recuperates from his injuries. And he goes on. And then Punk's music hits, and he comes out. And before Punk gets in the ring, Axel jumps out of the ring after him. And Punk, of course, easily beats the shit out of Axel, because they've shown time and time again that Axel can't do fuck with Punk. Axel gets beat down, and Punk lifts him up and hits the GTS on him. And then Punk goes under the ring, and he grabs a kendo stick, and he gets into the ring, and he's just kind of messing with Heyman, grabs his wheelchair thing, and he's pushing him around and around, and he dumps him out. Heyman's lying on his face. Punk grabs the kendo stick and just starts wailing on Heyman repeatedly, again and again and again, just whacking the fuck out of him. And then he gets in one last big shot right across Heyman's back. And then Daniel Bryan's music hits, and he comes out. So it's time for the match. They cut to a commercial break. And when they come back, they recap last week when Punk went against Luke Harper, And then Wyatt tried to attack, and Bryan came out for the save, and all that other shit. And then the Shield music hits, and they come out. And it's time for the match. Right. And this match didn't even really have a real finish. Let's see, it went for a while, and then they went to another commercial, and after that, all hell started breaking loose. Everybody was flying all over the place. Some of the Shield guys got wiped out on the outside of the ring by Bryan, and then one of them got wiped out by Punk. And let's see, Punk was legal, and he was in there with Ambrose, who was legal. And Punk goes to hit the GTS on Ambrose, but Ambrose gets out of it, and there's Reigns, who Punk gets him up and hits the GTS on Reigns. And then Ambrose tried to come from behind and grab Punk for the headlock driver, but Punk gets out of it and drops Ambrose down and locks in the Anaconda Vice. And it's looking like that's pretty much going to be the end of the match. But then the lights go out. And when they come back on, Harper and Rowan are in the ring, staring down Punk and Bryan. And let's see, Ambrose and Rollins are in the ring too. And what ends up happening is, I think Punk throws Rollins into Harper. And Harper just kind of almost forearm shots him. It doesn't really do much to Rollins aside from kind of stagger him a bit. But he comes back and he's staring at Harper and he's like, what the fuck? You know. And so Bryan and Punk, they got the hell out of the ring. They're over by the commentators. They're like, fuck this. We're tired of these Wyatt punks. And so Ambrose and Rollins are staring down Harper and Rowan, kind of having words with them. And the fans are finally getting pumped because they'd been dead for the last couple of matches. But the fans are getting pumped because we're like, holy shit, we're going to see a faction war. The Wyatts and the Shield, right? Finally, after teasing for way too long, Ambrose and Rollins finally start fighting with Harper and Rowan, and they're fighting back and forth, and then the camera happens to look over on the outside of the ring by the ramp. There's Bray and Reigns who are having words with each other, and finally, Reigns grabs Bray by the shirt collar, and the two of them get into it, and Reigns throws Bray into the ring, and then all six of them are going at it at once. And then they break up, and they're all kind of staring down at each other, and Wyatt's like holding back Harper and Rowan. He's like, wait. And he starts talking to the Shield guys. He's like, hold on a second here, we got a common enemy. And he's pointing over at Bryan and Punk, who are still stupidly standing over by the commentators. I don't know why the fuck they didn't just leave. But he's like, we got a common enemy here, we should be going after them. And so the Shield guys are looking back at Punk and Bryan, and they're like, yeah, you're right. So they all six jump out of the ring on different sides, and they basically like try to surround Punk and Bryan, but Punk and Bryan dive into the ring. And then, of course, the Shield and the Wyatts surround the ring, and it's basically like one of the old Shield attacks, where they just get into the ring all at once, and they're swarming Punk and Bryan, and they're beating the fuck out of him. Then all of a sudden, here come the Usos and Cody Rhodes and Goldust, and together, them and Punk and Bryan clear house of the Wyatts and the Shield, throw all of them out of the ring, and that's pretty much the end of the show. So, yeah. That's basically the end of it. The only other note here is, during several of the commercial breaks, they happened to hype up this stupid thing for next week. Next week, Raw is going to be in, where was it? Tennessee somewhere. Probably the capital, I'm not sure. Either way, but they're going to be in Tennessee. And so it's going to be Raw Goes Country. and they're playing this god-awful country music during these promo videos. And I'm just like, fucking country music sucks. I'm sorry, but I listen to country music, I want to blow my brains out, alright? That's how depressing it is, and that's how much it sucks. So, God knows Raw next week is going to be probably pretty bad if it's all country. Fuck's sake. But anyways, I guess we can go over the matches again like we always do. First match was Randy versus Cody and Goldust. And the count-out victory was kind of lame. The match was decent, I guess, though. Then we had the Matadors and Santino versus 3MB, or the Union Jacks, which was shit. I'm sorry, but this Matadors gimmick is terrible, and Santino just flat-out sucks. He needs a new gimmick. And 3MB need new gimmicks, too. I've been hearing that they want to repackage Drew McIntyre, which is good, because McIntyre is definitely the best of the three. He was basically doomed to failure before, because they tried to give him that stupid Vince's Chosen One gimmick, and that gimmick is pretty much a guaranteed death sentence. You know who the last person was that had that gimmick? Jeff Jarrett. In WCW. The fans could not give a fuck about him. Anytime somebody claims to be the Chosen One, or when they claim to be Vince's Chosen One, there goes all your crowd heat. You're not going to get anything. But the fact of the matter is, Drew McIntyre's actually a fairly decent wrestler. He can put on good matches, and he can cut decent promos. He could have been a big star, but they fucked him over with this terrible gimmick. And then they stick him with 3MB, and they almost make it even worse. Stick him with Slater, who's a piece of shit. Jinder Mahal's not so bad. You know, he can be a good heel. Again, he's a decent wrestler, and he can cut decent promos. But, for fuck's sake, the writers, the bookers, just do not know how to use these guys. It is awful how bad this is. Anyways, that match was shit, and then we had Sandow and Kofi, which was decent. It's nice to see Damian get a win for once. Then we had Ziggler and Axel, the IC title match, which was good, despite Axel getting the win. And then you had Tamina versus Nikki, which was shit. Fandango and Tyson Kidd, which was good. Cena and the Real Americans, which was decent. And then you had Ryback versus Truth. Again, fucking lol. Truth wins. Hilarious. Big E and Del Rio was just kind of boring. And them pretty much making Big E look like shit by losing. And then you had Punk and Bryan versus The Shield, which didn't really even have a finish, like I said, but it was a decent match. But then, of course, you've got Punk and Bryan in there, and you've got Rollins and Ambrose in there, and Reigns. So, it's pretty hard to not have a good match with those five guys. They had to ruin it by having the fucking Wyatts come in, but whatever. Anyways, that's the end of the Raw rant. We've got Raw Goes Country next week. That's gonna suck. The Authority is supposed to come back because the European tour is gonna be over by next week. Yeah, they decided to go on vacation. The commentators were talking about that all night, and JBL's like, how come I can't go on vacation with him too? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Because then you'd get rid of one of these shitty-ass commentators. While we're at it, can we just have JBL and the Authority take a dirt nap? Can we get that, maybe? That would be great. So sick of JBL and the Authority. All this bullshit. Can we get some new commentators, please? Lawler sucks without JR. And JR is not even part of the WWE anymore. He got fired. Despite what they might say. They might say, oh, he retired. No, bullshit. They fired him. Fucking idiots. And get Cole's punk ass out of there. He has always been a terrible commentator. Can we please get some new commentators? Can we bring up the commentators from NXT or the guys that do main event and superstars? It's another reason why I'm glad I don't watch SmackDown anymore, because I can't stand Michael Cole for more than 3 hours a week. And he's got to be on both shows, and him and JBL both. Fuck off. Anyways, once again, that was Raw from November 11th, 2013, from Manchester, England. Thank you for watching. Join us in a couple of days when we do the SmackDown spoilers. Join us then. See you next time.